So, I cannot segue from that. So let's talk about the next time.
Well, more specifically, you two.
I'm only going to make this joke again because this is how I felt as soon as that announcement got announced. I posted it in the chat.
Yeah!
I'm definitely putting that in the video. I even know the sound effect I want to use for it.
Like, so Bill, why don't you tell people what the next time is?
Madara versus Aizen. Madara, the main villain of Naruto, and Aizen, one of the main villains of Bleach. And
I was gonna say Madara is also just one of the main villains in Naruto, technically.
To me, Madara is the GOAT. All right.
But I think got outshined by a goddamn buddy.
We don't talk about that.
I do a lot of fans, and I agree with that statement.
We don't talk about that. But yes.
Can we at least talk about this?
Indeed we can. That's a good enough segue from the porno one we've made. So...
I take it, mate.
Yeah, mate, well, what the hell?
I regret nothing.
Just play your Pokemon.
Okay.
You disgusting...
That's what I'm doing.
You disgusting man.
So, obligatory. Oh my god, this is finally fucking happening. And I can't believe it's happening, and I've waited years for this, and I am freaking out.
Welcome to my world when Blake vs. Mikasa was announced.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be like this when it got announced because it did get confirmed, but now I am. So, shit.
And here I am as Squidward looking at your only mates and Sean as they run about with their favourite matches.
Goku Black versus Reverse Flash.
That was an episode I had a feeling it would happen, but at the same time I didn't, and then at the same time I really doubted they would do. So I kind of figured they were never going to do it. That logic works. But maybe at some point when we do the finale for this season of Let's Discuss Death Battle, I'll think of like characters I would want to see in a death battle and who I could pit them up against. Or talk about their most wanted characters. But speaking of most wanted, Sean, tell us, why was this your most wanted death battle out of every matchup you've probably seen requested, or just based on the characters alone?
Okay. So, it definitely has something to do with personal bias. Growing up, there were three things me and my family, bonded over when we were growing up. That would be Marvel Ultimate Alliance, a fun video game. Italia, which is an old anime that's kind of funny, and Bleach. And
You bonded
Bleach?
over a cleaning product?
Oh, the anime Bleach.
My
I know.
God, mate, that was too easy to do. And I knew you were going to do that as well. I was saying at the moment Short I was like, oh god, mate's going to mention Bleach, isn't he?
So, those were the three things we kind of bonded over when we were growing up. Bleach, especially to me, has become my favorite anime of all time. And after Ichigo got in, I thought that was a good episode, but I always kind of wanted Aizen because he kind of was just like this snarky bad guy that my family was just kind of like, God, I hate Aizen. But god damn it, is he so fucking cool.
I think that's, from what I've heard, that's pretty much how Bleach see him.
Yeah. Madara is also a fun one because we also kind of enjoyed Naruto, especially playing the video games of Naruto made us get back into watching the show. And my sister was a big fan of Madara because of his giant fucking fan and just how hilarious it is.
Are you saying you're a fan of his powers?
I would say my sister is.
And you said my joke was too easy.
I know, I'm a hypocrite.
But it's just
Shame
I always
on
thought
me!
Madara. That's kind of the joke. You're a hypocrite about returning combatants. Too.
Okay, let's be real here. If there's anything this season of Let's Discuss Death Battle has proven, I'm a fucking hypocrite. Let's be real. And you know what? I will take that to my grave. I will even nail it on my gravestone. Here lies Bill. He's a bloody hypocrite.
Or you nail it on your gravestone if you're dead.
Good point. Maybe I'll put my brain in a cyborg body and then I'll nail it in there. Oh wait,
No, me and May can just do it for you instead.
Hey, mate.
Yeah, that works too.
Hey, mate already plans to be over my grave when I'm still mad about that Worms game. Hashtag still mad.
Okay. But I
I'm
always
just
thought
there
Madara-
as an old man, like, "Oh, get right, please!"
Wait, what? Why were you two fighting?
You guys are ruining my funeral.
Back to Madara real quick.
So we
I
are
always thought
excited.
Madara was like
We are excited.
I thought Madara was the second best Naruto villain after I got done with the series. Also because I thought Obito was just handled really well. And when people were suggesting this, like growing up, I'm like, you know what, that'd be kind of cool. Like getting into the show and everything. I thought that would be kind of cool. And then Ichigo versus Naruto happened, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's a possibility in the future for these to happen. I'm just holding out, hoping for that and hoping for that. But it's mainly a personal thing, but it's a really cool personal thing because these characters are just so goddamn cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Madara, and I must, from everything you've mentioned and how some of my friends have mentioned Aizen, because what's kind of sad for me, in my school and in specifically the classes I was in, everyone was a Bleach fan. I was the minority who liked Naruto. Because I think at the time when I was in sixth form and secondary school, Bleach's popularity was just shooting up.
Yeah.
I missed the shonen
But
days
it
at
was
my
something
school.
different. Yeah. I've waited for this for a really long time. Even before I was doing Death Battle content. Like, I've waited for this episode because it's gonna be, I think it'd be really fun. And, you know, with how old school or, you know, when I was growing up, shonen fans are gonna see two of their best villains go at it. It'd be a good nostalgia trip for them.
Oh yeah, like Madara has also probably so many like abilities and stuff like that. I cannot remember the names of all of them because Madara is pretty much a walking Swiss Army knife of shurikens and like all sorts of ninja techniques from the show. Like basically, think of any technique you know from Naruto. He most definitely could do it.
I mean, he's an Uchiha.
Gates.
Of course he's gonna be bullshit.
He probably
Does he have the 8 gates?
He probably could, but I think he knows using them is not really worth it. But he could.
Okay, this is kind of unrelated. I want to ask, why do characters other than like Lee and Guy not use the 8 gates?
Because the 8 gates they typically like to use in a Tai Jutsu kind of thing to enhance their stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Where-
know, but if Naruto
but-
used it, wouldn't he just be like? Wouldn't that give him a massive power boost and he'd be like OP as fuck?
He probably
Not
could.
really, because
It's also very dangerous to
focusing
use.
yeah, and it's
Yeah, but he's
focusing
also
on
got like
style.
some kind of self-healing, doesn't he?
Okay, listen, if you were to use the 8th gate, you're not coming back from that with your healing factor. You're dead.
I mean 8 gate. I mean like 1 through 7.
It would still damage your body permanently, even with a healing factor. That's why it's kind of a forbidden technique, because it's like, that's too dangerous to use, alright? But, you know, Mike Guy is just like, I do not care, I'm Mike Guy. God, I love Mike Guy, he's one of my favourite characters.
I am the embodiment of youth.
Oh my goodness, like, Mike Guy needs his own show. I don't care Naruto's not popular anymore, get him his own show. He even fights in a
In case you
wheelchair.
couldn't tell, we're going to be starting with Madara for this part of the discussion, obviously. Because I've been told so many details already about this episode. Liam is directing and writing this, which I'm really excited for because I think he does really well with anime fights.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too.
Isn't Louise also animating it?
I said Liam's directing and writing it.
No, I'm saying, like, isn't Louise also, like, the head animator in this fight as well?
I think he is, yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, didn't he do Naruto versus Ichigo?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised.
Also, thanks again to Robuscus. He told us who the researchers are for this. I don't remember what this first one did. GB is the first guy or girl. I don't remember all the fights they did before this.
GB is a guy.
Okay.
At least as far as I'm aware, they could identify. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know what GB's done before this one, off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Because GB is the head researcher of Madara. And
no pressure, but, you know, if you butcher my boy, there will be consequences.
Someone's still grieving over Sasuke, aren't they?
Do you want, if Madara does lose,
You had to bring that up.
If Madara does lose, I'm bringing it back.
So, and Nocturne is researching Aizen. Also, apparently, Brandon's been hinting at his next Death Battle track being like the best he's done as far as like production goes. So it's either he's doing this track or he's doing the season finale track. You could take it either way, honestly.
Yeah, who knows?
He did bring up Dangerous Gaze, so that makes me kind of lean towards he's going the Madara Aizen route.
Yeah, also keep in mind Brandon was the one who did the track for Naruto vs. Ichigo.
Which is arguably my favorite soundtrack of all time.
Let me just quickly double check to be 100% sure.
Yeah, Showdown was its title. And that was a Brandon H track.
I think, yeah, but I think we should actually talk about the characters now, because I'm really excited to talk about Madara.
Right. Madara Uchiha, I think, to be fair to Bill, since he is a Naruto fan, I'll let Bill lead this part.
I'm not going to steal the spotlight too much, I just really want to talk about Madara. So, one of the first things Madara did when he was brought into Naruto, specifically Naruto Shippuden, I always pronounce it wrong, god damn it, why? Shippuden. Why did they?
Hey, you said it right!
So, okay, so here's his debut.
I just realized how immature I was.
Go ahead.
A Shippuden.
Boo! I'm working with amateurs! Oh my goodness, I need to get my agent on the line. Anyway, Madara. His first debut. Because here's a fun fact about Madara. You know how, like, Darkseid's avatar is not his true form? In a way, this version of Madara isn't really the full power of Madara, because this is a resurrected person. He is, I guess you could argue, a zombie. I'd say he's more equivalent to a mummy. And the first thing he did when he came back, he was standing amongst like all sorts of powerful ninjas. Naruto, Gaara, I think even Naruto's mum was there. Like I said, it's been years since I've seen Naruto. And the first thing he did was literally beat the shit out of the majority of the characters, with them barely able to react to it. And not only that, he then summoned a meteor to just crush everything.
Yeah, wasn't there like a big him versus army fight?
Yes, and it was... okay, put it through the mind of like a little teen like me, who's seen some pretty powerful characters in Naruto, some that have leveled cities. At this point, Gaara was introduced. I thought he was probably going to be the most powerful character at this point, but then Madara comes in, he's like, hey, you see that meteor? I'm going to bring it down to Earth. And not only that, I'm then going to summon another one. He summons 2 meteorites. Because one character, I can't remember his name, I'll put it on screen. He jumps up and stops the first one, and he's all like, impressive. So what are you going to do about that second one? Those are his words, and it just comes past the clouds. I was like, whoa, this guy does not mess around. And just like I said before, you know, much like Naruto and all the other characters, he has a few jujitsu moves, but he mainly uses like fire and stuff like that. One of his other abilities is that he can read your movements, kind of like Taskmaster in a way. So during a fight, he'll be like telegraphing your moves, trying to find out what your style of fighting is, and he then finds a counter to it mid-fight. Like, he can read your moves, even your techniques, he could just read it from your movement. Like, he knows what move you're going to do and what technique. So like when Naruto tried to use Rasengan on him, it worked, then when he tries it again later on in another fight, he's just like, yeah, I knew you were about to power that up. So each fighter had to like change up their tactics when taking out Madara because he was unpredictable himself, and he could just read your predictable movesets, as he would put it. He was also just destructive. Like, he did not care for the environment, not even for his own like allies. Like, if they got caught in the crossfire, he did not care. Now, granted, he did have a sense of honor and stuff like that, like most Naruto characters do. And in the end, he did have somewhat of a honorable death, I suppose you could say. He was still just an evil prick. Like, to me, he's the Doctor Doom of Naruto. You know, he views himself above everyone else, and everyone else is beneath him. And much like Sasuke, he also has I always butcher it when I say this, he can also summon Susanoo. Am I pronouncing that right? Susanoo. Yes, and admittedly, I was not surprised he could do that, because after everything else he's done with his destructive nature, summon meteorites, and I would like to say I think Madara has a good chance at winning. But at the same time, I'm thinking Aizen probably has something that you know, could stop like Madara from like reincarnating. Because that's the other thing about Madara, is that he was nearly unkillable as well. Emphasis on nearly. I think he even had an ability that could like reincarnate him mid-fight. I think that's how he was able to survive the 8 gate from Night Guy, because he would have died from that, but he had a jutsu that could pretty much just say, yeah, no, fuck you.
You know jutsu.
Yes. Oh,
just
God.
summons a giant middle finger made of fire and it smashes into them. I want to see that now.
Oh, God. But he was not unstoppable. No, he obviously, when Naruto managed to unlock his, his 9 tails things, I think at the point he had 10 tails. But yeah, once Naruto got into like his most powerful form, yeah, Madara got screwed, because he had no way of like deflecting such power from Naruto, and it ultimately kind of led to his death. Rest in peace, you awesome bastard. So I guess now, Sean, you're bringing in the Aizen stuff. Let's hear it.
Bill will probably tell you all, I am currently dressed up as Sōsuke Aizen from Bleach.
I'll put an image of it on
captain
screen.
of the 5th division. So Aizen actually made a quite early appearance and was the villain of Bleach for at least 5 arcs of the show. Aizen is considered a Shinigami, which is also known as the Soul Reaper. Similar to Ichigo, but every Soul Reaper has a different power set. They have different abilities, and their Zanpakutos, which are their swords, are different.
Remember this.
Aizen, besides being good with his Zanpakuto, is also great at a variety of the Bleach magic, which in similar case is called a Hado. I'm going through my notes here. Give me a second. I'm prepared, okay? And I just have a lot of notes.
Yeah, I was just going over the top of my head of Madara.
Hey, how long have I wanted this goddamn fight?
I can imagine a long time.
So, Aizen's main thing is he is really, really intelligent and a master strategist and manipulator. Like, that is Aizen's biggest factor for him. 100%. Like, he's fooled the other captains and even the leader of the Soul Reapers themselves. Like, that's just how insanely smart this guy is.
Don't mess with a man with a trench coat.
Well, to be fair, the coat is very comfy.
He's got that drip, boy.
I don't have a cake, but I got the drip.
I saw that tweet from Cispadena.
All right, but I think the main thing we'll focus on first is his Zanpakuto. Aizen's Zanpakuto is called Kyoki Zugetsu.
You know, remember that comment that was saying we don't flex on one another? Sean is pretty much flexing that he can say Japanese words better than me.
Well, for
He's
Bill's
also
sake,
flexing that he's the Bleach expert of us.
well,
Yeah.
for Bill's sake, it is also called Mirror Flower / Water Moon.
Oh, that is
In seal
lame.
form, it's like a katana.
I take it
Okay.
back, that sounds epic.
So, seal form means that pretty much, I'm sure Mate will remember from Naruto. This is Ichigo. Soul Reapers can release their Zanpakutos with Shikai. And in
Yeah,
Aizen's
I
case,
remember that.
the release command is Shatter, which activates and can deactivate his blade. The ability of Mirror Flower is, how do I explain this? It's complete hypnosis. What it pretty much does, it controls all 5 of your senses to where you can misinterpret another person's form, shape, mass, feel, or smell. And it kind of initiates this really strong state of hypnosis.
I'm trying to think. Was there a point Madara actually managed to resist something like that?
The thing with this, it can be activated as long as that person sees the blade itself. That's the main factor you got to keep an eye on. Heck, for reference, this hasn't even affected Yawatch, the Almighty. And Yawatch, I would say, is arguably one of the most powerful characters in Bleach. Aizen's main thing with his Zanpakuto is his illusionary style. Like, he'll make you see things so that he can get behind you, get a quick attack in. And his whole gimmick is to try to trick you and wear yourself out.
That is kind of like how Madara fights, but more so in that, you know, he reads your movements and stuff like that, and avoids your techniques with his own techniques.
And while most Soul Reapers have Bankais, no one's really sure what Aizen's does.
I'm starting to realize
Because one
Aizen's
thing he
just an anime prankster.
In a way, yes, but in a different way, there's just more to Aizen than his Zanpakuto. That's just his Zanpakuto, Billy.
Oof.
His Kaido, or Hado spells, are also another part of his arsenal. Aizen has such things such as Koritsugi, which kind of helps disable people and entraps them. And apparently, back when he did this against another Soul Reaper captain, he wasn't even at his strongest state, because, of course not. But shonen characters get stronger as they go on for some reason. He even has a Hado. I believe its English pronunciation is airtight, which kind of acts as like a protection for him, which can protect him against any sort of projectile attacks. I mean, after this guy was once imprisoned, he learned his most powerful technique, Hado 99. Even I struggle to pronounce the name of this, so I will give you the English translation, which is 5 Swirling Dragons of Destruction, or 5 Dragon Destruction.
That sounds cool.
That does sound really cool.
Upon activation, well, energy ruptures and causes, pillars to rise up, and it forms into 5 enormous light purple dragons, which is actually very insane. And Aizen is not the only one who knows this technique. This is also used by Urahara, or as my family called him, Hat and Clogs.
What do they call
That's
it?
what he wore. Hat and Clogs.
Fair enough.
You also have to consider the speed for Aizen as well, because he is a master of Shunpo. And he can pretty much meaning he can disarm you of your weapons. He can even catch weapons like a Zanpakuto with his bare hands. And it's kind of ridiculous. There's of course things that Aizen doesn't use anymore, like the fusions that he has, which is just different forms of himself. I don't know if this will get brought into the debate, because he doesn't... Huh?
I was going fusion. Ah,
Well, unfortunately, this doesn't require a second person. Otherwise, that would be a great joke.
I'm trying.
You are. He's got 5 total fusions. And make it, well, they got insane as they went along. I don't know if you guys want me to go in detail, since I don't know if they'll bring this up in the analysis, since he doesn't really use them anymore.
I think it's worth mentioning.
Alright, let's just start with the basic one. We'll go through this real quick. His first fusion just pretty much gets him regeneration and more durability and strength. Second fusion will enhance his endurance and speed on top of everything else, and enhance spiritual power. Third one doesn't change that much. Fourth one gives him teleportation, which is pretty fun. And his final fusion. It looks a little bit weird, but this is what happens when Aizen got really angry at Ichigo, because Ichigo is beating up his other forms. He gets fucking wings, for example. And he can cause Fragor, which is not Japanese, it is actually Spanish, which kind of release these purple, bluish purple energy spears from skulls. Kind of like sands in a weird way, but think of it like that.
That's a good way to sum it up. I actually was thinking, like sands.
And of course, he has an ultra version of this, which does a very similar thing. However, he also uses it solidates? Why did I write it solidates? But the basic thing is 3 times bigger than his standard Fragor. I kind of hope that they at least mention this in like a sidebar thing about these fusions. I don't know how much of a factor will play in the episode itself, because I think Madara also has different forms of himself, as Bill was alluding to earlier.
Yeah, I didn't bring it up as much, which I'm actually kind of annoyed by. Yeah, so when Madara got, no joke, sliced clean in half by Sasuke, he decided to use one more technique, and he became the Ten Tails, which makes him look like some weird gothic rock star. And yeah,
That's fair.
everything that Naruto could do in like his Nine Tails form, which makes him look like Ninja Jesus. Yeah, Madara is just slightly more powerful in this form, and he kind of needed it to at least fight on par with Naruto, but he still wasn't enough. But I do think this form would definitely give Aizen a run for his money, because its destructive nature is just unmatched so far in Naruto.
Alright. So do you want to move on to the debate aspect then, for our predictions? Because I feel like I gave a good explanation about what Aizen has. Because I said this before we recorded. The response I've heard from people, this is the second closest fight this season.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, because Naruto and Ichigo was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so...
And the thing is, people are still up in the air. Like, they're convinced that Madara probably has more destructive capabilities.
I feel like he has
up in the air between the two.
I think one thing this is the thing, like, Madara I would definitely say is destructive nature, because he could theoretically just destroy the entire planet. Obviously he's not going to, otherwise he'll die. Or maybe he'll just be stranded in space forever, because he's already technically dead. But I'm thinking just going into his Ten Tails form would be enough for everything you described of Aizen, even in his forms. I'm not sure if any of them reached the destructive nature. I think this is just gonna... I think for this type of fight, it's gonna kind of stand on like whether Aizen can land a killing blow on Madara, and given the fact that this guy can kill from nearly everything, like being blasted apart, sliced in half. I mean, granted, he had to, summon a form so he could survive being sliced in half, but Aizen's gonna have to pull some tricks, and I'm probably remembering it wrong, but I think Madara did manage to resist some sort of like mind manipulation. I could be wrong about this. It could have been a completely separate character or villain, but I'm certain that
the Sharingan exists and the Mangekyo Sharingan. I wouldn't be surprised if he has resisted stuff like that.
he has actually resisted those.
So
Oh, there you go then.
the weaknesses of that technique is surprisingly one of the things that you can do to get out of it is if you touch the blade. If you touch the blade, you can get out of that.
Right. And if we're going by just Naruto versus Ichigo, they do mention Naruto can move at light speed, and Madara is continuously always keeping up with Naruto, even in his Nine Tails form.
Yeah, not
That's
to
the thing
mention,
I
like
was going to
they
get into
say,
next.
they say Naruto can react light speeds because he dodged a light speed attack. Yeah, that's from Madara.
Yeah. So he also has...
Speed is surprisingly still up in the air between these two, however.
Oh, yeah?
Some people say Aizen's faster, and some people say Madara's faster.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to shonen type of debates for Death Battle, you're always going to have conflicted fans. Even if sometimes the fight may be very obvious who wins, most people would be a bit biased.
But besides that, people are saying that Aizen can actually counter some of the Sharingan techniques that Madara has.
Do tell.
Well, Aizen's been around for over 100 years, technically. He wasn't like resurrected or anything as a Soul Reaper. And he's resisted some of these techniques as well. Plus, he also would know a lot of these illusion tricks since he has nearly flawless illusions anyway.
That is actually true, so it would really just... most likely it's going to go down to their speed and destructive capabilities.
Well, with destruction capability, I would definitely say Madara has that, but speed is really up in the air. Like, either one of these guys could technically be faster.
Yeah, like... I'm just trying to think, like... I do think Aizen could definitely handle a base form Madara. Maybe not, but I'm going to give Aizen the benefit of the doubt and thinking he could match base form Madara. I mean, Madara in his base form is still pretty powerful already.
Yeah, I think it was just base forms between these two. Madara would lose, but Madara's other forms are definitely going to help him out.
Absolutely, and I do wonder if they're going to give him both the Ten Tails and the Susanoo. I know I'm probably saying that wrong, but I don't care. Would you kindly fuck off?
It would depend if that breaks the rules, and it would depend. We'll pull up a Dio versus Alucard argument here. If it breaks the rules and lore of Madara for him to have both.
Yeah, I think he can summon it whenever he wants to, but I think he did lose it during the fight. I think Kakashi actually managed to remove that technique from him. So then so he kind of had to just go with all the other techniques he had and the forms he had, and then he had to resort to, his final form.
Yeah, this fight is not completely in one character's favor. Like, you can make solid arguments for both.
Yeah, and I feel like we are going to have a bit of a flame war in the comments, but if you do not look at YouTube comments...
fully expect that.
Right. I'll be sad if Madara loses, but at the same time, I'm not going to feel like they're going to... I never feel like Death Battle bullshit their way for their winners. I feel like they do come up with their own reasons, and whether you agree with it or not, I rarely ever feel like there's bias behind it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I've said this multiple times. Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, if there were bias behind the verdicts, a lot of episodes would have had different outcomes.
Yeah. I think one of them...
more so going to be...
I'm sorry.
My more so point was going to be relating to this. They handled Ichigo very well. You can argue that he was hyperbole, but everything else, like, they tried their best to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I feel like that's what matters. That episode did not get as much hate as people thought it was going to. Because I feel like they handled him very well.
That's something I do want to touch on in terms of who we're going for our predictions. So, Sean, how much stronger does Ichigo become after battling Aizen?
The first time or for the last time?
The last time.
The last time, okay, so to put this into perspective, Aizen couldn't beat Hiwatch, even with his illusions, like power-wise, so Ichigo is at least stronger than Hiwatch by the end of the series.
Okay. Okay, so, just bringing back Naruto versus Ichigo, and you mentioned that they gave Ichigo the benefit of the doubt and hyperbole him, like saying, "Oh, here's every single form he has, even though they're not really connected. Let's stack them to give him as big a boost as possible."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was still below base Naruto.
Oof. I didn't actually know that.
Who Madara is stronger than.
Base Madara, I should say.
So, does that mean Mate will be going with Madara?
That feels like the safer option to me.
Okay.
Just based on, okay, exaggerated Ichigo lost to base Naruto, and I feel like it's in Madara's favor. But just a casual look, I don't know much about like what these two can do. From the sounds of it, they can counter each other's like mental attacks. So it would just come down to stats.
You know what? I'm kind of thinking, I'm gonna go with Madara as well, but obviously after Ichigo versus Naruto, how they do future death vows changed. I think that's probably why this episode's being done. It's sort of a celebration of that, because after that one, they kind of changed their format about doing death battles, in a way.
Well, also keep in mind, most of the time they bring back a Naruto character, they bring up the Moon Feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bill, I'm guessing you're gonna go with Madara?
Well, here's what I was going to go into, is that with how Death Battle do things, there's been characters that they had go up against a certain combatant who lost. Like, for instance, Thor versus Wonder Woman, given everything Hulk's managed to do, especially in the Hulk versus Broly episode, and Thor managed to fight on par with him on a regular basis, that could be an episode you could argue is a bit dated on its research, and I'm kind of thinking, could the same be Naruto versus Ichigo? Could there be things they might have left out? And Ichigo is actually more powerful. Like, Ichigo is more powerful.
I mean, that's totally possible, but Bill, just the whole Wonder Woman thing, yeah, no, it would stay the same. I think.
I'm gonna go for my boy Madara. Yes, I love him too much. I can't go against Madara. One, he probably would kill me, but two, it's just he's such an epic villain.
Okay. I've wanted this for years. I've researched this to the best of my abilities. And I will agree. I feel like Aizen does have a lot of counters to some of Madara's things. Looking at stats, it's definitely coming down to speed alone, and that's the biggest toss-up. With this being the second closest fight in the series, I won't be surprised if Aizen wins. But I gotta go with what I think is the smart choice of Madara Uchiha.
Ooh. I mean, if we're wrong...
It pains me
if we're
to do that.
If we're wrong, then it's gonna come down to the finale whether we're gonna choose who we're gonna...
Even if we're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
After this episode, it comes down to the season finale.
The thing is, right now, is what I'm seeing. People are... This is the second closest fight. People are going back and forth saying... Like, I've gotten comments saying that Aizen's gonna win. Some people are saying Madara's gonna win. But I think the smart choice here, just if you want to go based off power and destructive capability, would be Madara.
Yeah, because as much as speed is definitely... Like, if there's one thing Goku Black versus Reverse Flash taught us, you could be as destructive as you want to be, but if someone's just as fast and has abilities to bypass your powers, you are kind of left in a awkward situation where destructive power means nothing. Well, that again, you also have to be a living paradox, so there's that.
Yeah, and there's also fights like Ryu versus Jin, where Jin had the speed advantage, but it wasn't enough given how much stronger and tougher Ryu was.
Yeah.
I will say, regardless of this outcome, I think we already know where I'm putting this on my overall rankings, because I am a biased jerk.
No, I wouldn't say you're a jerk.
I do have one request. I have one request for this episode that I hope happens. And that is Aizen's voice actor. I hope it's voiced by Cameron, the guy who's voiced Sephiroth in Mario, because his Sephiroth is identical to Kyle Herbert's interpretation of Aizen.
Who could?
Hey, you never know.
I'm wondering who could voice Madara, specifically his English actor, as I grew up with that one over the Japanese one.
Call it an odd pick from me, Bill, but I think Nick might do Madara pretty well. Or
yeah, we haven't seen Nick this season.
I'm thinking either Nick or what was the guy who played Dracula? He could probably play Madara.
Nah.
Oh, wasn't that I'm blanking on the name.
Bill?
I know it, but
I don't think Dracula's voice suits Madara.
The actor, if anything goes by, the actors probably have range, Bill.
I mean, yeah, they probably do have range.
even Kelly.
Stephen Kelly, yeah.
That's
he
it.
voiced Hulk later that season too, I think.
No, he didn't voice Hulk.
Who else did Stephen voice? Obi-Wan?
Doom.
Oh yeah, Doctor Doom.
Do you know what? Oh my goodness, if that actually happens and Doctor Doom and Madara share the same voice actors this season, that would be epic. Two of my favorite villains just having the same voice.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Cameron does Aizen because I think Cameron would do a really good job.
I think Dio's voice actor would also be a good choice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tom Schultz.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because even when he was just doing a slow talking as Dio, I could definitely picture that type of tone of his voice going with Madara. Because when he speaks, he does speak in a calm manner. It's just when he gets into the fight, and that's when he starts getting very growly and vicious. Similar to how Dio did in that death battle. I don't want to picture Madara going "Ree!" like Dio, because that would not suit him. That would, I don't know.
Can you imagine just as the Susanoo, he just does that? Like the Susanoo does the Dio pose and everything.
Oh my god. Oh, I hate laughing at that, but it's funny.
I think I do want to say this one more thing because I think we're about to wrap up.
We are at the hour and a half mark.
I think you guys asked me if I was gonna. I was gonna say you guys did ask me if I was gonna do one when we talked about Madara Aizen when they got teased. I mean, considering I got the costume and the swords on the way, fuck it, I might as well just do a reaction video to my most wanted. It'd be a crime if I didn't.
I'm gonna steal a clip from good friend Yangi Insane and say, do it. I'll probably put it on screen.
Oh, the Blake one?
Yeah, I'll probably put it on screen because that joke works
part.
better. I'm actually gonna messenger
That
now.
clip is so goddamn good.
I'm gonna messenger now and ask if I can have it.
The funny part is it comes out December 5th. I've already requested off because it's gonna be my sister's birthday anyway, so I'm like, there is a god. This is a sign that I have to do this. It's saying, Sean, if you don't do it, everyone will be disappointed in you. But,
don't worry, I won't be disappointed in you. I'll just be mildly annoyed.
I think I've said everything I want to say about why Madara vs. Aizen is my most wanted, what I hope happens, and who our predictions are. So I'm good to go. If you guys want to add anything?
I'm pretty much on the same boat as you.
Yeah, I might not be invested in these characters or their series, but I'm excited for this fight for both of you guys. Because Bill, you're a big Naruto fan, and you say Madara's an epic villain. Sean, you've wanted this fight for a long time, and you love Bleach. So I've just been looking forward to just listening to you guys talk about it.
Hopefully our talks didn't put you to sleep at least.
Well, I've also been playing Pokemon.
That's true.
Well, trying to contribute where I can. And by the way, just throwing this out there, whilst this talk has been going on, I got on my low tick.
Oh wow, already?
Yeah, I evolved Phoebus.
Oh damn.
Nice.
It took me for ages to get that. Maybe I'm just bad at Pokemon.
Maybe.
Okay, add that to my
I
gravestone.
haven't even...
Add that to my gravestone. Hashtag Bill is bad at Pokemon. With the hashtag.